Hi everyone, this is Hiba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be documenting day 20, 21, and 22 in my October daily 2021. So for day 20, the prompt was costume, and I was a rebel handmaid. I had the rainbow socks, I had women empowerment pins, all the good stuff. And I wanted to document the whole thing. So as you can see, I have two photos, one of my pins and my costume and one of my rainbow socks. And to have some space to add my journaling and all that good stuff, I decided to shrink down the rainbow socks picture a little bit so I have space to do all the things. I love the 6x8 paper from Studio Calico. It just has costume, but because it's a 6x8, it's too long and it's not going to fit into my notebook. So I decide that I am going to recreate that paper. I have the alphas, so I'm just going to go for it. I start stamping costume, and there's a little checklist next to the S that I thought, you know what, I don't need that checklist. I can just use some embellishments to fill out that space and change it up and make it my own. So that's literally what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stamp out costume. I'm going to stick down my journaling, and then I'm gonna go through my embellishments, and I found a witch's hat, a chipboard witch's hat, and I used that to fill out that space next to the S. Now this layout is going to come together pretty quickly just because I'm trying to finish my project. That's why I'm going to keep my spread simple. I found this sticker from one of my sticker sheets, and it said boo, and it was in yellow and kind of broke down all that red. So I added that directly to my photo. I'm going to stamp a few things directly on my smaller photo with my socks just to, I don't know, they fit nicely and they were long and tall. So I thought I'm just going to go for it. I do double stamp on this one because I felt like it didn't stamp as well as I wanted to. So I grabbed a different black ink and re-stamped that, and it worked out fine. Anyways, once I'm done stamping, I'm going to grab my number stickers from Feed Your Craft, add my number 20, and call prompt number 20 done. Easy peasy. I can move on to day 21 and kind of get this project done because I really want to start working in my Thankful 30. Okay, so for day 21, I decided to document candy, and the prompt was C is for. So I thought I'm just going to stamp out the prompt. I wanted to use this beautiful stamp set from Ali Edwards. It is designed by Laura Wansick, and it's really cool. It's just different shapes that you can recreate create your own alphas with the shapes. I started by stamping the C and using the shapes to create my C, but right away I hated the color and I didn't stamp it properly. So I decide that I'm going to redo this with different ink colors, something that matches better with my photo. And I'm going to stamp it on white paper, trim it out, and cover up my boo-boo. As you can see, the photo, I made it black and white with a hint of color because the color of the candy was not what I was looking for. It wasn't really pretty. And I thought, like, if I make it more subtle, I can use more inks and colors on my spread. And I'm happy I did that because it really changed up the look of that photo and made it look more spooky. So anyways, now that I'm done stamping my C, I can trim it out and figure out how to cover up my boo-boo. Now, when I set my C properly the right way, you're going to still see my boo-boo in the background. So I'm just going to trim off a white piece of paper, cover that up, and call it done. I'm not even going to worry about it. If you look closely, you can see the piece of paper, but I don't really care. I'm not that type of crafter that's a perfectionist and think everything has to be perfect. So I'm just going to leave it as is. I do want to stamp C is for, so I'm using a smaller stamp set. I believe this is Everyday Explorers with some black ink. And then I'm going to finish off with candy, but candy, I'm going to use embellishments because I remembered I have a few embellishments in the 31 collection from Prima that said candy, and I thought this is a great way to use it. And also, I don't have to stamp it out. I started with the chipboard candy, but it was a little bit too small, so I went with the larger die cut, and it looked so much better. And that way, I can use my candy stickers to create little clusters around it. So I start by adding some of the stickers. I'll go back and grab some puffy ones. I'll even grab some die cut candy and add that around my candy die cut. That way it adds some dimension and texture to my spread. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this didn't turn out to be one of my favorite layouts. I kind of questioned myself a few times. I don't know what it was. At first, I thought, oh my gosh, my C looks like Pac-Man. And then I thought, well, I mean, it does make sense, like Pac-Man eating candy or whatever. But I went back and forth. I wasn't a big fan of the spread, but I tried to make it as good as I possibly can. I end up grabbing some bat stickers and adding those as well, just to add something in the background. I just felt maybe it was way too simple, but again, it's not a big deal. I added a few stickers to my photo, a few word stickers as well, and I think it turned out okay. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but it's a good layout. It documents our candy, and that's good enough for me. Okay, so I'm going to finish up my spread by adding my number sticker from Feed Your Craft, and then we can move on to day 22. So for day 22, I'm using the prompt, something that makes you happy. And my virtual crop meetups with my YouTube members is something that really makes me happy, so I decided to document that. Now, I printed the same screenshot 3 times, small prints, because I knew I wanted to use this laptop stamp from Studio Calico and kind of trim out the centers, back up my photos with it. Now, because these photos are really small, I decided to stamp them 3 times, print them 3 times, and have them kind of go in a row on my spread, just because the notebook is pretty big and I wanted to fill it out, and I just didn't want to do my usual large photo. So by doing this, it adds some interest and texture to my layout, and I do this all the time and recommend this all the time. Trim out the centers, back up your photos with it. It makes the laptop look more realistic than just sticking the photo directly in the center of your laptop. Of course, you could measure it and get it to fit perfectly, but I find this way is easier, and it looks more realistic. Now, once I stick down my photos and back up my laptops, I'm going to trim them out, and I want to back them up with some pattern paper. I want to bring in some color. I want to use my stash. So I'm going to use a few different pattern papers on this spread. I'm going to start with a very subtle black with stars on it. This is from the 31 collection. Again, I need to be using my products, and I want to keep this as simple as possible. I will also trim out a different pattern paper, which is extremely subtle, because I knew I was going to be stamping a lot. So I've said this before, I get a lot of inspiration from YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. And while I was scrolling through Pinterest, I saw a design of like alphabets, but instead of stamping all the alphabets, or she didn't stamp them, she designed it, but instead of adding every single alphabet, she skipped a few and drew in like cats and mouse and hats and things like that instead of stamping the letter. So that's what I decided to do. I trimmed down my pattern paper to fit, and I'm going to stamp the alphabets. But like instead of stamping the C, I decided to use my embellishments to fill out for cat. Or like instead of G, I'm going to use a ghost sticker. This is a great way to use my embellishments. And it was just fun. Now, it has nothing to do with what I'm documenting, but that's fine. I'm going to end up adding journaling, but I wanted to change it up instead of just stamping my virtual crop date or something. I just felt like it was going to be fun to create a different design and take that inspiration and make it my own. So as you can see, I go back and forth between embellishments. I'm really trying to go with small embellishments so everything fits nicely. And I wanted my alphabets to pop, so I used this bold alpha. This is the Tucker alpha from Studio Calico. So I'm basically going between my stamps and my embellishments, and I have plenty. I end up using a little monster for M, I think pumpkin for P, spider for S, vampire teeth for V, and I think a witch for W. So it was fun. It took a bit of time, but honestly, it turned out really cool and it was totally different than what I usually do. I am almost done stamping my alphabets. I did have to squeeze things in and rearrange some of my stickers to make everything fit, but that doesn't bother me. I think it turned out pretty cool. I will also grab some more stickers and add a few stickers here and there just to add color and again to use up my stash. And once I'm done, I'm going to stick down my page and start working on the left side. So the left side, I end up, sticking down my paper more towards the right and left the far end of the left side empty. That way I can add my journaling. But I will print my journaling on vellum because I wanted to mute down that white. It just didn't go well with my pattern paper. So I'm going to share those photos at the end of the video, but because it was like last minute decision, I didn't want to waste time and print all that out on camera. So anyways, I'm going to add Boo. I will also add a sticker. I think it was a bat sticker, and call the spread done. And again, you'll see all the photos at the end of this video with my finished spread. But that's about it, you guys. I hope you have been enjoying my October daily process videos. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.